Hello, Michael Tellinger here with another frequently asked question about one small town implementation, and this time we talk about a very sensitive subject, and this question is, what about human nature? People are naturally lazy and greedy. I find that quite staggering, the fact that this question has come up many times. And it shows me, and it shows a lot of other people that hear this, that we are a deeply disturbed community, a deeply disturbed species. We have been so disturbed and so brainwashed and so confused about who we are as human beings. What is our natural soul purpose? What are we actually born into? Why are we born into this world? What is our journey here? And what it is that true nature, or what is it that true human nature really means? What does it mean, human nature? So what I'd like to put to you is that it's very difficult for people at this stage, because of the system, the socioeconomic system that we are born into. It's very difficult for us to even contemplate what human nature truly is, because we are told and manipulated since birth into the society that we grow up in. And if you live in a suburb of Los Angeles, you'll have a very different perspective of the world than if you live in a suburb of Mumbai, or a suburb in a country of Iran, or somewhere in a small village in Russia, or a small village in China, or a big city in China. It all depends who you are, where you were born, and if you're born in the slums of an African village, you have a very different perspective on the world, how the world works, what you're going to have to do to survive, and what's going on in the world by watching TV or watching listening to the radio, or watching news on your cell phone through the various news channels that come out there. All of these things skew our perspective. They have a profound effect on how we think, how we perceive the world around us, and what we believe is true and what we believe is false. So for us to even try and contemplate that we think we understand what human nature is quite dangerous. Because when a child is born, when a baby is born, each and every one of us, the moment we are born, at that moment of birth, we come into this world without any attachments, without any contracts, without any obligations, without promises we've made to anyone. And we're literally, for a short while, we're completely free and sovereign human beings until all the laws, rules and regulations are imposed on us. And once these laws and regulations are imposed on us and birth certificates are signed, and we don't know that at an early age, but as we grow up, we observe and we learn about our customs, our culture, how our society works around us, and then you observe other cultures and you're confused about other cultures because they're so vastly different from yours. And we start to realize how divided we are as a species. We divided on so many levels. We divided almost on an infinite number of levels. So many levels of division and separation that we don't even recognize them anymore. So all of this has a profound effect on us as living, breathing human beings of infinite soul and flesh and blood. And we need to look inside to reevaluate what true human nature is. And I think when you do that and you look deep inside yourself, you realize how beautiful human nature is, how friendly, how helpful, how supportive people are all over the world. And you see that when you travel through small towns and villages, especially where people lived in impoverished conditions. When you arrive in a small village, whether it's in Africa, in Asia, in America, and anywhere around the world, when you arrive in a small village, you normally find people will offer you food and offer you a bed, especially if you're down and out. They'll give you the shirt off their back, and I know that to be true, especially in Africa, in the small underprivileged villages where people live off the land. They have nothing, but they will take care of you. They will feed you, because that is the beautiful side of human nature. We do care about other human beings. We do want to open our homes. We do want to share the love and the joy and abundance that we have and make sure that people don't suffer. We don't like, generally, Majority of human beings do not like to see other people suffer. We don't like to see anyone being hurt. The moment you step outside of that zone, that means that you've already been affected by the movies we see, the trauma, the warfare, the news around us, the conditioning, the programming, the brainwashing, and also much of what we go through in our education system. I personally believe that true human nature are the natural skills that we are born with. The skills to create, the skills to love, to share, to give, to honor, to embrace, to love and to share. The fundamental first levels of human nature. And if you look at what babies do, when little babies are born, the first thing they do is they literally start to create. Keep in mind that we are one with creation. We are part of creation. Our first human nature is to create, is because we are part of creation. We come into this world with no preconceived ideas, with no attachments, no contracts or affiliation to anyone, and all we want to do is be able to create and to be joyful, and that very quickly gets beaten out of our system. Keep in mind, the moment our children start doing this or doing that, we say, you can't do that, you can't do this. Very quickly we start to be conditioned by the system, the socioeconomic system, our culture, our environment around us. But if you look at little babies, the first thing they do is they want to blow bubbles and make noises and make shapes with their fingers. The first thing we want to do as part of our human nature is to create, because we're part of creation, to love and to share. People are lazy, and people are greedy, and people are selfish, and people are deceitful because of the fear of survival, not being able to survive, not having enough, or trying to get as much as somebody else, but it's very hard. And I believe the 7 deadly sins are all connected to the capitalist system and the system we find ourselves in, where people are constantly worried about how they're going to survive. They're tired of struggling so hard to survive. They're tired of working so hard to make ends meet. And all these aspects of greed, laziness, and so forth are all tied to the socio-political system that we find ourselves in. It's not tied to human nature. Those are consequences of our environment that we find ourselves in. I want you to think about this. Look deep into your heart. How many times somebody has helped you, and how many times you've helped others, and how beautiful and simple it would be if you didn't have to worry about food, technology, electricity, a roof over your head, healthcare. If all of that is provided at the best possible level, what would you worry about? The concept of stealing something from someone flies out the window. The concept of being lazy flies out the window, because now you're not forced to do anything. You're not forced to get out of bed and go do something you hate to do, and then you're called lazy because you don't like to do that, because it goes against your nature. And if you wake up in the morning and you're allowed to do what you love to do, to follow your natural gifts, your natural talents with which you're born, or the skills that you've acquired throughout your life, and you're allowed to do that, and you're supported by your community because people love to see you paint or sculpt or row a boat or run 100 meters or sing or dance or build a bridge because you're so good at building bridges. The moment you feel the support and the love of your community and the people around you because of what you do and you love doing, you will wake up every morning with joy in your heart. You will wake up every morning looking forward to go and do something. And if you wake up some mornings and you want to take a break, that's okay. You can go fishing. You don't have to constantly do what you're passionate about and you're driven to do. But there are millions of things that we have access to, things that we choose to do. And many people have different skills. Some people are good at engineering, they're also good at singing, they're also good at rowing, they're also good at running or whatever it is. So you don't have to be stuck in a groove and only do this thing. The One Small Town and Contributionism model opens the door to anything and any possibility that you choose to do, anything you love to do. That is the most beautiful form of freedom that any one of us could possibly imagine. So the concept of laziness or being greedy does not exist. It really has no root or place in a contributionist one small town community, because everybody will have the freedom to do what they love to do, knowing that they have everything is taken care of. There's never a shortage of anything. And the concept of taking something or stealing something or robbing someone flies out the window, because everything you need can and is available to you. Everything becomes custom made. In a contributionist community, we probably, over a period of time, we're not going to have shops with shelves and racks of stacked t-shirts and stuff that's mass-produced, and furniture that's mass-produced, and you can only buy this because that's what somebody decided to make. Slowly but surely, our community will change, and we'll start changing the way we provide things to ourselves, whether it's clothing, whether it's furniture, whether it's building a home for you. Everything will become custom made over a certain period of time, and we'll forget the time where everything was pre-ordered, pre-made, sizes that don't fit you. So this is all part of the losing the fear of not having, or the fear of lack, or the fear of not having enough. And that changes everything. So the idea that human nature is to be lazy and is to be greedy and is to be cruel does not have place, or does not have a foundation in a one small town contributionist community. I hope that I wove in enough of the different strands of this question, because that is, to me personally, that is a deeply upsetting and quite disturbing question when people ask that, because it shows me that we still have to go through a lot of growth of consciousness, a lot of enlightenment, to realize how deep into this oppressive slavery system we've been sucked into if we start to believe that human nature is to be greedy, to be lazy, and to be violent. So I hope that puts your mind at ease and makes you realize how beautiful humanity truly is, and how beautiful human beings can be when they're given the freedom to do that. Until next time, this is Michael Tellinger. Bye for now.